Screen visible ಇದೆಯಾ?
ಹಾ, ವಿಸಿಬಲ್ ಇದೆ. ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿ.
Okay, okay.
ಬಿ ಲೌಡರ್.
Yeah. Good morning. My name is Sonika from Department of Computer Science and Engineering. My seminar topic is pattern recognition, recognition of handwritten documents using convolutional neural networks. So these are the contents that we are going to discuss in this session. First, let us know what is HCR. HCR is the handwritten character recognition. So handwriting recognition is the ability of a machine to receive and interpret handwritten input. So handwritten characters means the patterns. So these patterns include alphabet symbols, numbers, or any other characters. And the inputs are from many sources like paper documents, photographs, or any other form. So even the handwritings will differ from person to person, and there are different handwriting forms. So there are many alphabets from different languages. So here in this it will be recognizing all the English characters and the numbers and other special symbols. So all these patterns are processed and are trained by the convolutional neural network. For the optical character recognition system, the CNN will predict the sequence of characters. So let us know about what CNN and its process later. Coming to the literature survey, the first paper I've referred is Handwritten Text Segmentation via End-to-End Learning of CNN. It was published by Jin Ho and Kim Ho in the 2019. So in this paper, they have developed an end-to-end deep CNN. So here in this, the first step is to scan the input image. Then they have proposed a new loss function. It is based on cross entropy. So entropy is a measure of randomness in the information. It is used for the training purpose. So however, it is quite complex, and they have proposed the method working for the real document images. So the next paper is recognizing challenging handwritten annotation with fully convolutional network. It was published by Saurabh, Marcus, and Mishra in the year 2018. So in this paper, they have considered some German documents as a data set and applied fully CNN for recognition. So it is an unsupervised process, and they have trained and evaluated fully convolutional neural network on the semantic segmentation. The main contribution of their work is that they have introduced a new data set, but they have also concluded to adopt more specialized methods for classification. The third paper is Convolutional Neural Network Committee for Handwritten Character Classification. It was published by Luca Maira and Duren in the year 2018. So here in this paper, they have formed a committee of some 7 convolutional neural networks and have worked on the uppercase and lowercase letters. Their work is used, or the committee they have formed are based on the classifier, and it is the first step. It is the first building block to any OCR system, optical character recognition system. So the next paper is handwritten character recognition using neural networks. It was published in the year 2018 and it was published by Hitesh. So here in this paper, he preferred neural network for the recognition and classification of the characters. But for neural network character recognition, the input should undergo several pre-processing techniques, and it includes segmentation processes for better recognition. So the procedure of HDR system is first the input will be given to the system. It may be in the form of a document, photograph, or any other form. The recognition and classification of the characters are done by neural network. Here, CNN is used for its effective and accurate recognition of characters. So, CNN is most used neural network method for the handwriting recognition. But before
Sonika,
entering,
next slide. Next slide, Sonika. Yeah, you
so
do.
so in this proposed system, convolutional neural network will classify and recognize the pattern, and for that it requires these three steps. So these are the steps that are involved in pattern recognition. The first step is to identify each character or image or any input document. Then it should undergo image preprocessing steps. This includes grayscale processing, noise removal, thinning of the
Sonika, one second. Your steps involved is first one, identification of the character, right?
yes, sir.
Before pre-processing, how can you identify a character?
The character means input, sir, identification of input.
Yeah,
Image
it's
input.
not identification of the character, it's in acceptance of input ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು ಅನ್ಕೋತೀನಿ.
Okay.
You are going to take the input, then you start the pre-processing. First only if you identify what is the need of pre-processing.
Sir, identification of input given, sir. Actually.
Okay, ಆಯ್ತು ಮಾಡಿ.
So the next step is segmentation. Um, so here the sequence of characters will be decomposed into sub-images of individual characters. So it will be done in three steps. The next step after segmentation is feature extraction. Here this will extract the different line types and the
Yeah, I
edges
got
of
it. Go to the next slide.
the
Next slide ಹೋಗಿ. ಇದು ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು ನಂಗೆ. Next slide ಹೋಗಿ. One second. Yeah, this is a schematic representation of the process, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, ಇದನ್ನ explain ಮಾಡಿ.
Okay. So, handwriting character recognition system, HCR system must undergo this process. So it works in stages. So as I mentioned earlier, the first step is image processing. So it includes grayscaling, noise removal, and thinning. The next step is segmentation. So segmentation is to decompose or break the sequence of characters. It will be done in three steps. So it should undergo line segmentation, word segmentation, and character segmentation. The next step is feature extraction. So after segmentation, the character image can be resized. So the edges of the characters will be extracted for recognition. And the final step is classification and recognition of the characters using neural networks. So the features that are extracted are given as input to the neural network. Here, convolutional neural network is used and will recognize the characters. So we'll discuss the process that occur in detail. The first system should identify the input, and then the pre-processing will start. So the pre-processing includes these series of operations. So the first step in pre-processing is grayscaling. So here grayscaling is process in which RGB color will be mapped to a single number, single grayscale value. So each color pixel is described by a triplet RGB. So it is the intensities of red, green, and blue color. So there are many approaches. To convert into grayscale. So here the intensity of color pixel will be mapped to single grayscale value. to some gray level to black and white image. So it is done by choosing a threshold value and to classify all the pixels. So the next step in pre-processing is noise filtration. So there are many types of noise in the image. The most identified are Gaussian noise and salt and pepper noise. So it varies due to light intensities of the image. So these noises in an image will be removed by denoising function. The normalization is the final preprocessing step, which is used to remove the some selected foreground pixels from the binary image. So these are the preprocessing steps that are carried out for the further HDR stages. So after pre-processing, the image will undergo segmentation. So here in this part, the characters will be identified letters, and it is necessary to segment the documents into lines and lines into words and then words into characters. So for that, these are the following steps which is done. The first is to divide the text into rows and rows into words and finally words into letters. So dividing text into rows is nothing but line segmentation. So it is performed by scanning from horizontal pixel row, and it will start from top of the document. So every line are separated when it finds the blank pixel, or if there is no pixel, no identified pixel, then it is the end of the row and the separation of the line. So after line segmentation, the rows will be divided into words. It is called word segmentation. So it is performed by scanning each of the vertical pixels, and this will start from left side of the line. So when a column finds a blank pixel, it will separate the words. The last step is to divide the words into letters. It is nothing but character segmentation. So it is also performed by scanning the vertical pixel column. So the characters are separated when it finds the column with no black pixel. So here we can see the sequence of characters that is decomposed into sub-image of individual characters. So here we can see the first block. It is the sequence of the characters, that is words. So in the next block, the word segmentation is carried, and in the last block, as we can see, each character is separated, and it has formed individual characters from the word. So this is how segmentation process works. So, so here in this picture, it is resulting the pre-processing and segmentation process. So the first block is the input character that is to be recognized. So the first block is the input image. Then in the pre-processing step, the image will be converted into grayscale, and then it is converted into black and white image, which is the result of binarization. So in the last step, in the last block, the image is segmented. It is divided into separate characters. So this is the result of character segmentation. So this is complete pre-processing and segmentation process. After segmentation, the character image can be resized. So feature extraction is a process to extract.
Sonika, next slide. ಇದನ್ನ ಹೇಳಿ.
So here the endpoints or the edges of the characters it will be extracted. So we can see here each character of the image will be processed by the edge of the character. The edges and and the endpoints are extracted in feature extraction. So the classification and recognition is done.
Next.
So convolutional neural networks usually consist of three layers that are convolutional layers, subsampling layer, and fully convolutional layer. So there can also be inserted another layer like softmax layer. So here in the first layer is convolutional layer. It is basic layer where convolutional process is performed. So in this this process is to extract the input image feature, and final convolutional layer is to maintain the is to um, maintain the gray level into the image. So the second layer is pooling layer. It is also known as subsampling layer. So this layer is to change the input feature into result representation. Um, so the next is the fully convolutional layer. It consists of input layer, hidden layer, and the output layer. So the end layer will classify the input image. Um, so the convolutional neural network passes information to each layer for the recognition. These are um, uh, these are several methods to recognize handwritten characters that are CNN.
Next.
So here is some of the methods to recognize. Uh, so here, semi-instrumental and incremental method are quite the same. It uses the best path search algorithm for recognition. Mm, but but it has a drawback with the segmentation process. In the line and word segmentation method, it will decompose characters, but it cannot detect the patterns. It cannot detect patterns and recognize it. Like that, in zoning method, the pattern images is divided into several zones.
Next slide, go.
Uh, so compared to all these methods, CNN is better for the recognition. So coming to the advantages of this project, it will predict the handwritten documents more accurately. So the efficiency and the accuracy of the CNN method is comparatively more, and the segmentation process it will simplify the pattern. So this will result in accuracy of the recognition. And the drawbacks is it is difficult to recognize various handwritings like cursive pattern, and if the handwriting is slow, handwritten picture is sloped up or slammed down, it is difficult to recognize. And the other disadvantage is the CNN requires more training samples and training time. Um, and now the results analysis. So the output and the accuracies are already compared. The result in the system is more accurate due to segmentation process, and it also gives effective recognition. So here we can see in this first image, it is the input. It is the input that is given to the system. It is in image form. In the second image is the recognized text. So the system undergo all the process and will recognize the pattern. So this is the result for input given to the system. So these are some of the words and symbols that are recognized by CNN method. Um, and and as I already told, the handwriting will differ from person to person, and there are many handwriting forms. Here we can see in this fifth word, on this fifth word, the actual handwritten word is mistaken, but the system has listed something wrong, it is because of the handwriting form. It has more sloped up. So these are some of the aspects that it should be taken care of in this proposed system. So um, in this paper, they have proposed a method to separate handwritten documents, which works on real documents. So unlike other neural network methods, the layered CNN model works well, and it also showed the results for real document images. And these are some of the papers that are referred. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Sonika. We'll leave the meeting.